Hey guys, welcome to Podiatry Practice Mastery. Don here. What I'm going to go over for the next few episodes are what I'll call the top 20 from the AAPPM meeting in Lagomar. And I recently returned from that meeting. It was a nice meeting if you haven't been. And I want to tell you a little backstory. So pretty much each of these episodes, we're going to go over one little tip kind of that I got. And I'll explain a little bit about the AAPPM and my history in it. I started going to these meetings when I was a student. So in the student, we had the practice management, and then I was able to go to one of these meetings. And it really opened up my eyes to liking to do practice management and learning about business. But what I really liked is everyone was nice, and it's still that way. Everyone is very nice at the meeting, and it's a very open meeting to sharing tips. Many times we get more of our ideas in between the lectures than the lectures themselves. It was nice, and so as a student I went to 2 or 3 meetings, and that was fun. And then I got into residency, and I didn't have time to go to any meetings. I don't know if I didn't have any. I didn't have any time because I was too busy during residency. And then after residency, it just got super busy with clinic and starting a practice and things like that. And so I was less involved. And then I had kids and this and that. And you know how life goes. And you had to get your CMEs, and you had to take more time off. So I stopped for a few years going. And then the last couple of years, I've been privileged to be able to do a couple of lectures for them. And I get to, basically, the stuff that I create, these different ideas, I'm able to share with other people that are interested in this type of stuff. Because that's one of the challenges being an entrepreneur, whether you're producing content, something like this, or whether you're just in your office trying to be an entrepreneur. It's kind of a lonely path. You don't know what anyone else is doing. You don't know if you're like different than everyone else, and that's somehow how it feels. But when you go to a meeting like that, you see these other kind of business-minded people. And I was able to, at this meeting, see and talk to many other podiatrists and office managers that are interested in this, and some even listen to this Podiatry Practice Mastery, this podcast, or the YouTube. So first of all, I would ask, if you do listen to it and you like it, please put a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to this at. That would help get it into the hands of more podiatrists, so I can help more people and share more things. And then the AAPPM as well, what I've enjoyed about the meetings is trying to take a takeaway from the meeting. I don't know if you have a tendency to do this, but at each of these meetings, it's kind of like drinking from a fire hydrant. And this happens to me a lot because when I read books, I have many ideas. And when I do other things, other types of learning things, I find we get a little bit overwhelmed with too many ideas. And that's why after an event, I do something called an experience transformer. And this is something that I've learned with Dan Sullivan and Strategic Coach. And I look at kind of what went well, what didn't go well, and what I would do different next time. And so I tend to do this. Basically, it's a way that you can squeeze more benefit or more juice out of any experience. I started to use this with surgery. That's how I initially started it. As I train residents, I used to look at, okay, what went well in the surgery, what didn't go so well, and what I would do different. And this is something every time I'm doing a surgery with a resident, I'll ask them what went well, what didn't go well, because there's always things that didn't go well that you could do better incision, better closure, better anything. And then what we would do different, and then making a plan for the future. So going into it, and let's go back and look at this AAPPM meeting that I went to. Prior to going there, what worked well is I decided that I was going to get 20 different ideas for 20 different podcast episodes. Because part of the fun with this podcast is sharing ideas with other people that hopefully will help them. But it also helps me to process these ideas. That's part of the reason I like it. So I did have my journal, and I have 20 different episodes, and that's what I'm going to go over the next 20 episodes or so. Just one kind of idea, doing a deep dive in what I've learned. And so that was one of the things I planned before, and I was able to do it. Another good thing is I wanted to do a podcast with someone else, and I was able to do a podcast with Rem. And so we talked a little bit about the background behind having a mastermind group. Now, I did this twofold. I did this one because I'm wanting to develop my own mastermind, okay, eventually. And I wanted to take people behind the scenes so they can see what it's like behind the mastermind, because we all know that other people might have masterminds, but you don't know really what's behind the scenes. And I got this idea, this isn't my idea, this idea of interviewing and going kind of behind the scenes when I like reading and studying marketing. There was this guy named Dan Kennedy, and he talked about this, and he actually used an example of a beer company. I think it was maybe Schmidt's Beer or something like that when he was talking about it. And what he was saying is, everyone makes beer the same way, or anything the same way. But what they did when they were doing their advertising, they went and they talked about how everything was toasted to perfection and how they found the grain and everything like this. So this is something that everyone does, but they just went behind the scenes to explain it. And so I find that I like to see this, and I think other people like to see it. So it's not just, this is a mastermind, but what goes into it? What's behind the scenes? How long has it been going on? What were the errors that you made making it? And that can help other people if they're thinking about joining a mastermind like that. And it also can help me as I'm trying to think of, is this something that I have the bandwidth to do within Podiatry Practice Mastery? So that was another one of the good things that happened. Another good thing, it was nice to meet and talk to other people. For me personally, I think if you've heard me for a while, I'm really interested in this whole intermittent fasting. So it was a nice way I could just eat one meal a day. When I was there, I could just drink coffee because there was tons of coffee. The things that didn't go so well, I think it would have been more fun if I had brought more of my staff, because I saw many of the other offices, they brought more staff, like medical assistants, office managers, other colleagues. I did not, and that was something that I could do better next time. I also think it would have been more fun to bring my family. And we had just been on a vacation to Canada, and that's why I didn't bring them. But like bringing a family, I think next time would have been better as well. But I was concerned about taking them out of school and this and that. But those are the things that kind of didn't go so well. If I could do it over again, like going to this conference again, what would I have done differently? Well, I think differently, I don't think I would have done much of anything. Maybe trying to make use a little bit better of my travel time, but I think I was tired. So I always think I'm going to do all this stuff on my travel time. I'm going to read all these books and listen to all these Audible books because I don't have any family to distract me. That's one thing. And I also made too many plans prior, like how I was going to use that time at the conference in the evenings. I was thinking I'm going to be all productive and things like that, and I really wasn't. So kind of lowering a little bit my expectations of what could be done. But I'm going to go in and I'm going to talk about in the next couple of episodes the top 20 things that I've got. And the way I did that is each day I just wrote out 5 or 6 things that I learned. These would be tips from other vendors, tips from other doctors, things that I frankly wasn't doing right. And what's kind of humbling is when you go to these things, you see, you don't know everything and you have a lot to learn. And that's what I like to share on this podcast, of how I can do better. And just so this I think people like this authenticity of like, I'm not doing too well on this, other people are doing better. Okay, so that's what I'll be showing. One thing that was fun, and if you haven't done it already, I was able to do a couple of lectures. I did one on AFOs and another on high-tech treatment. So I'm putting those on my YouTube channel. Both of those lectures on how to do more AFOs, like diagnosis-specific AFOs, and then one also on like high-tech. That was the fun one. All these different little high-tech things to grow your practice. So if you want to see those, go to the YouTube of Podiatry Practice Mastery. Please subscribe. Please let me know what else you want to hear about. That helps give me fodder for future episodes. And if you haven't done the patient presentations tool, I would recommend you try starting to use that, and I'd like some feedback on that. So let me know how it works for you. Okay, guys. Thanks. Have a great one.